Thomas are considered Mahalchim, and the Malachim are considered Oimdim. And we were saying that seemingly is a problem, according to the Ramaz's explanation of the Zohar, that says that the Malachim also have a level of Zivug. They also have a level of mating. And if they have a level of mating, then they should have the Koyach HaYilolā. And the Koyach HaYilolā seemingly, the power of birth is the power of the infinite, and so on. So Tzemach Tzedek, and the Rebbe explains, but the Tzemach Tzedek is saying that even in the Zivug, even in the mating of Malachim, which is higher than just what we might have interpreted the Zohar as meaning just the Yichud of Mashpia Makabla Rav and Talmud, even that type of mating of Malachim is Zivug Gufani. It's still a level of Chitzonius, versus by the Yidden, it's a level of Pnimius. Now, so let's just get the terminology over here. There is the Zivug of Nishikin. That's like a Rav Tatal. That's what we may have said was by the Malachim. But the Ramaz says no. It's more than the Zivug of Nishikin, more than the Yichud of a Rav Tatal. It's a Yichud and a Zivug Gufni, which is like the union of a husband and a wife. But the difference that's explained between the Zivug Gufni of Neshamas and the Zivug Gufni of Malachim is that the Zivug Gufni of Malachim is Chitzonius and external, and the Zivug Gufni of Neshamas is Pnimius, as we will now elaborate more about that by understanding the difference between Yid now and Mashiach's times, and comparing it also to the Zivug Nishikin, which is not the way we're explaining it now. Again, the 9th page of the copies, page Yud Gimel, 3rd paragraph on the page, line 21. And to explain this matter concerning the content of the Maim, even though this idea that the Tzemach Tzedek brings down about the Ramaz's understanding of the Zohar, Moshe Zakuta's understanding of the Zohar concerning the mating and the union of Malachim, it's only brought down parenthetically. So he says, according to what Tzemach Tzedek brings down and explains about the Malachim versus Neshamas, moving in it's understood a higher concept in the service of Neshamas and their traveling. Not only is the traveling of the Neshamas higher than that which occurs through a union of a kiss, which we said that's like Hashpa of a Rav to a Talmud, Hashpa of Seichel. Elom, yesh b'zechilu gam l'gabe mashenasai de zivug gufni. There's also an advantage, also in comparison to what occurs through a physical union, kifishu mitzad chitzonius, a bodily union, the way it's from the external, that the neshamas have more than the malachim have, even though the malachim have a bodily mating, whatever that means in the spiritual realms, but they only have it in the external type of mating. The neshamas have it more so. To be able to understand that difference of neshamas versus malachim, external versus pnimius, he's going to compare it to the 2 stages of marriage to the Hashem now versus the Mashiach stage. It says in line 27, look my clothes, achilot ben clothes, as manda atal, as manda lost love, like the general difference between the general time now of our connection with Hashem versus the time when Mashiach comes. Sharak oz in the zivuk pnimi, only then there will be the innermost union and mating between us and Hashem. Okay, as it's known, Shegilui Pnimius Atik, the revelation of the inner level of Atik Yoimin, Yirak La'asad Lavi, will be in the future. In other words, even though there are some revelations from Keser, for example, the mitzvahs come from Ratzon. Ratzon, Hashem's will, that's the mitzvahs that we have. That's from Keser. But the inner level of Keser, the level of Atik, the level of delight, and not just any level of delight, but Pnimius Atik, that inner delight of Hashem, that inner aspect of Hashem, is only going to become revealed when Mashiach comes. And that is reflected and the same idea like the Zivuk Nimi that we will have when Hashem when Mashiach comes. Therefore, it's brought down top of page Dalet. All matters of this world at present is called only like the first stage of marriage, what's called betrothal, not engagement, but the giving of the ring, the first step in a marriage, the kiddushin, as opposed to the second and final stage of marriage, where he takes the kala home, yirak la'asad lavi, that will be in the future, which shows that one is an external connection, the giving of the ring and so on, and the inner connection, the true union, takes place when Mashiach comes. So from that difference between now and Mashiach's times, from this we can understand this general idea of the difference between chitzonius, yichud, the zivul gufni bechitzonius, and the zivul gufni bepnimius. He says in line 3, resemble this understood. Even the matters of the joinings, the mating that we have now between the shamas themselves, that are now similar to the only betrothal. What we are going through is only this first stage. That means externally, yes, we do witness the idea of nisuyim, but it's not the true level of nisuyim. But what it's truly going on, that's the primary thing. It's only a level of erisin. It's not the level of the true union between the shamas at present. Yet he says in line 7, Nishmes Yisrael, that the shamas of Yidin Aidei Ridasim Lamata, through their descent down here below, Ba'oifin Shemiskashum Misachdim Managuf, in such a way that they have become bound up and they become one and united with the body. And how do we see the union of the neshama and the body takes place? It's to such a degree, every pain that the body experiences, negei the neshama, matters and touches the neshama. Like to explain that length in many places, the specifics of this, how even if I stub my toe, I cannot concentrate on learning. What's one have to do with the other? This is my toe and this is my head, because the neshama is so completely identified and united with the body that any experience of the body reflects and resonates in the neshama. So therefore, when the neshama comes down here below, nasa etzlam ha'inyan dezivu gufnim b'pnimis. That is the advantage of the neshamas coming down here below. Early in the mind when we started speaking about that neshamas and malachim are different because neshamas are mahalchim and malachim are. Then we said that in truth, even the neshamas, the way they are above, they are still oimdim. When do they become mahalchim? By coming down here below. How does that express itself? Because the malachim only have the zivul gufni, but external. That's like the level of just Eris. But the neshamas, by coming down here below, nasa etzlam ha'inyan the zivul gufni bepnimius, they have the inner level of the zivul gufni, of the bodily mating, not like the malachim that only have the external level. Therefore, since the neshamas down here below have the inner level of the zivul gufni, so we have the pnimius atik comes down. But We don't see it now. Mashiach comes, this will become and come about in a revealed way. What's really the goal and the purpose of all of this? Because to be able to relate to the pnimius, we need to have a certain tool. And the tool that the Rebbe says to be able to bring out and connect on this pnimius and so on is pnimius HaTorah. Oisvav, line 14. The main idea of traveling that's accomplished through the avodah of Torah and its mitzvahs, why the pnimius HaTorah dafka specifically through the inner part of the Torah. Hagdim, by first prefacing the Torah mitzvah, the general idea of Torah and its mitzvahs, there's also the reward for Torah study. There's the reward of fulfilling mitzvahs. Concerning the reward, Chazal says, mitzvah, that the reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. Being that's the case, that the reward of a mitzvah is the mitzvah itself, so therefore, from this the Alter Rebbe derives, if you want to identify and know what the very mitzvah is about, look at the reward, because since the reward is intricately bound up with the mitzvah, so by examining the reward, we can determine what the mitzvah is. So therefore, by using this type of measuring stick, we can start determining the idea of pnimius HaTorah, chitzonius HaTorah, etc. He says in line 19, there's a difference in the idea of reward. Not only concerning the reward that's going to be in the future. When Mashiach comes, also the reward that's present now in Gan Eden. That in general, Gan Eden is divided into two levels, the lower Gan Eden and the upper Gan Eden. Though in more specific details, there are multiple levels to no end in Gan Eden. It's explained in the Maimer of the Tzemach Tzedek that we're referring to the whole time. According to what's written in the Zohar Mavur, Baruch Batanya, it's explained at length in Tanya, to be able to arrive at the reward of the lower Gan Eden. How do we reach that? Mitzvahs is through the actions of mitzvahs. Mitzvahs, doing the mitzvahs, that brings us to the level of reward of the lower Gan Eden. To be able to arrive and to come and to reach the reward of the higher level of Gan Eden, that the location of the higher level of Gan Eden, the world of Bria. What's the world of Bria, also known as Alma Diskasia, the concealed world? It's the level of thought. Alma Diskasia is above the lower Gan Eden, that's the world of action, the world of revelation, just like thought versus action. Action is something that's revealed. That's why it's called in the Ruchnius Alma Diskasia. Whereas Gan Eden Elyon is called Alma Diskasia, it's in the world of thought. So action begets reward in the revealed world, in the world of action. The action of Maisa Mitzvahs brings about reward in Gan Eden HaTachton. But how does one reach the level of reward of Gan Eden Elyon, the concealed world, El Mabriya, the world of thought? Half the page does above. How is it? Dafkai the Kavonas HaMitzvahs, the Re'usa the Liba, it's only through the intention of the mitzvahs, with the will of the heart. Kizol Pnimius HaMitzvahs, it's the inner part of the mitzvahs. In other words, the thought that I'm putting into the mitzvah. Through the thought that I'm putting into the mitzvah and the love that's in my heart for the mitzvah, all the inner parts of the mitzvah, all the concealed parts of the mitzvah, I reach the higher level of Gan Eden, which is in the concealed worlds, in the world of thought, because that is the part of the mitzvah that I'm tapping into. Just like there's a difference in the reward of the mitzvahs whether we're doing it for the act, the rewards for the action of mitzvahs, for the inner part of mitzvahs. If I'm going to be in Gan Eden Atachnu, Gan Eden Elyon, so too in Torah itself. There's the revealed part of Torah and the concealed part of Torah. Line 2, K'moikin b'Torah, so too in Torah. This is the difference between the revealed part of the Torah to the inner part of the Torah, that the higher reward that is for the inner part of the Torah, and the external reward, the external level that is in for the studying of the revealed part of the Torah. So with this we can understand the continuation and the connection of the different topics that the Tzemach Tzedek brings down in this Maimer. The primary idea that neshama becomes a traveler, until traveling incomparably to the previous level, which that's the difference between the neshamas and malachim, that, like we said before, even though malachim are going up higher and higher in their avodah, but they're never really leaving their level. But neshamas are traveling in such a way that they're leaving their level totally behind. So primarily, this is all specifically and only through the inner level of Torah and the inner level of mitzvahs. Any questions? Second paragraph on page Yud Tesvav, line 8. The Rebbe goes on to explain the idea behind this is maybe by my, like Tzemach Tzedek brings in his Maimer, what says in Zohar, plus Dargim Skachron Davidah, 3 levels are bound up one with another. The 3 levels are Hashem, Torah, and the Yid. The Chulu, and all of these 3 levels, as Darg al Darg, they are multi-level, each one of them. Sasim Vegalia. Each one of them has a level, a covered, concealed level, and each one of these 3 has a revealed level. And because they have these different tiers, these different sub-levels, each one is connected via their appropriate and corresponding level. He explains, line 12, the revealed part of the Torah that joins and connects the revealed part of the Yidden with the revealed part of Hashem. Like the Yisosim, the Torah, as opposed to the concealed part of Torah, and this Chaber and this Kasher, Yisosim, the Yisrael, and Yisosim, it's joined and bound up the concealed part of the Yid, but the concealed part of Hashem. So the Rebbe goes on to explain this idea of the Zohar. The Inyan, who the idea behind this is, the Bislapshas on Neshama Beguf Adam, in the enclothing of the Neshama in the body of a person, Yesh Chiluk, Nefesh, there's a difference in the level of the Nefesh. The nefesh is the primary part that gives life to the body. Versus the ruach neshama, which is more transcendent. How do we know that it's so? Like we know what it says in the Geras HaKodesh, Siman Chav Zayin, and its explanation of there talks about the passing of a tzaddik and how different aspects of his nefesh, ruach, and neshama, his talmidim connect to. There's the way the nefesh is still, it has a connection with the body, the ruach, and neshama. So we see, as we'll also see the differences between the nefesh versus the ruach and neshama. We'll see it later in Ois Ches in short. So there's differences. There's the nefesh that is inhabiting and giving chayes to the body, and there's the ruach and neshama. And then there's even higher, until the level of the head of neshama. That in general, the head of the neshama, he bechinas chaye b'yechida. Those are the 2 levels of chaye yechida. So now getting back what we're talking about, the revealed parts versus the concealed parts. It says in line 22, Vaydegali the Torah, through studying the revealed part of the Torah, there becomes the joining of the level of nefesh. The nefesh shines in a revealed way in the body of a person. Through the revealed part of the Torah, that part of the nefesh that shines in the person, it becomes connected in Bechinas Kutsha Brichu with Hashem, Kifishu Memalach Olam, the way Hashem fills the world. In other words, the external part of Hashem. Chazal themselves compare the nefesh that's enclosed in the body with Hashem filling the world. Chazal say just like the nefesh fills the body, so to Hashem fills the world. So we see that there's this type of relationship and or comparison, if you will. And through the revealed part of the Torah, we connect the revealed part of the Neshama with the revealed part of Hashem, which is the part of the Neshama that's enclosed in the body, with the part of Hashem that manifests itself and is enclosed in the world, the level of a malach. Further than that, line 26, Olamaylam is higher than this, who are oifen is the manner. Sosim, the Torah Mechaber Sasosim Nefesh, that the concealed part of the Torah joins the concealed part of the soul, Nimius HaNefesh, the inner soul, Bechinas Ruach HaNeshama, the level of Ruach HaNeshama, the Ad L'Chai Yechida until the level of Chai Yechida, in Kutcha B'richu, Yefishu Soiv Kalam, with Hashem, the way He transcends and encompasses all the worlds. Asher Im He Yosef Bechinas Toiv, though it's a love that it's encircling and encompassing, which indicates transcendence and being removed, but still it relates to the world. It's the level that it encircles all the world. And it still has a connection with all the worlds. Until Soiv Kalam is found in the worlds in a concealed way. Through being enclosed in the level of Memal Kalam. So Soiv Kalam is enclosed and concealed in Memal Kalam. Memal Kalam is concealed in the world, so therefore the Soiv Kalam is also there in the worlds, though it's hidden. That's bedugmas heislapshus roish b'neshama beregel b'neshama. It's similar to the enclothing of the head of the neshama into the leg of the neshama. Slapshus pnimis ha'Torah b'nigla Torah. We also find the inner part of the Torah is enclosed in the revealed part of the Torah. The Rebbe very often by Fabrengens, when he would say something, he would often remark and say, intending it. For those that ask, where does it say a nigla? So the Rebbe, like, he used to give a smile and said, well, it's an open Gemara. The Gemara says so and so, and the Rebbe would interpret it to show this type of thing. So on the one hand, an ordinary person learning that Gemara would never have realized this connection. But the Rebbe sees the pnimis in the nigla, so he shows how in the nigla is concealed and hidden the pnimis. Just like in Memal Kalam is hidden the Soiviv, just like in the foot of the neshama is hidden the head of the neshama, the Chai Yechid. So the Rebbe goes on line 5. He's then moving for this understood. There should be the idea of traveling beyond measure and boundary to go, in other words, be the level of Mahalchim, not in the level of Oimdim. That cannot be accomplished through the level of Memal Kalam. On the level of Memal Kalam, that is compared to the neshama filling the body. That's how Hashem fills the world. That indicates that it's not truly unlimited. This is, metaphorically speaking, the way godliness comes down in a measured way in the boundaries according to the world. Therefore, because it's already been tailored to the world, the world is able to receive it and accept. As opposed to, if you put a bit without a body, meaning without the limitations and boundaries, like Soiv Kalam is, that it's transcending it. It could not fill the world in such a way that the world would remain a world. It would blow apart the world. This understood. The true idea of traveling by Yidden, it's only through the bond with the level of Soiv Kalam. That becomes about through the concealed part of the Torah. the inner part of the Torah. So that is how we have that type of connection. And now he's going to explain this type of transcendent level that we find in the Neshama, and the transcendent level that we find in Soiv Kalalman, in other words, the level of Mahalach, the level of going out of boundaries, that is also a difference between the revealed part and the concealed part. It says in line 18, that's why specifically in the inner part of the Torah it's emphasized in the revealed way the idea that its measure is longer than the earth and it's broader than the sea. Like it's explained that land in the Mamorim that speak about the appointing of a king, and the Mamorim speaking about the final day of Pesach. So it speaks about this idea, how there is the aspect of the Torah that's immeasurable, but that is specific to the inner part of the Torah, the immeasurable nature of the Torah. In the study of the revealed part of the Torah, there is a possibility for a person to study the entire Torah. Like explained in the laws of Talmud Torah for the Alter Rebbe, many different halachas that's called a Torah kula for someone that studied the entire Torah. The Alter Rebbe says, even if you study the entire Torah, you may not, leave the Torah to go involved in other types of studies and so on. But by the very fact that he calls it, he studied the entire Torah, that means that there is an end to it, or else it couldn't study the entire Torah. But what part of the Torah do we say there's an end to it, that it has a limitation, it has a boundary to it? That's the revealed part of the Torah. That's why it's possible in the revealed part of the Torah to say, even someone that studied the entire Torah, as opposed to the inner part of the Torah, he will teach the entire nation Torah. The very fact that he's able to teach the entire nation Torah without any differentiation between he's teaching Moshe Rabbeinu or he's teaching someone, a child that's learning Aleph Beit. That shows because he is beyond all types of measure and boundary, and therefore he's able to communicate that part of Torah is beyond measure and boundary. Only through the inner part of the Torah becomes the true idea of traveling. That's the true level of infinite, because as we mentioned also before, if a person is still within connection to their previous level, they still really didn't leave, they still didn't travel, they're still standing in one place. When a person only connects with the limited part of the Torah, they're only connecting their limited part of the Neshama with the limited part of godliness and Malach. To be able to transcend those limitations, to be able to truly travel, to break out of all boundaries, one needs to connect their inner and higher part of the Neshama with the higher part of Hashem through the higher part of Torah, through Pnimius HaTorah. So based on this, we will understand the specialness of Lag BaOmer, which is the Yom Hilullah of Rashbi, the one that revealed the inner part of the Torah. Since the Rashbi revealed the inner part of the Torah, the whole idea of a chasana, which a wedding and a union and a mating has to do, like we said before, the revelation of the power of the infinite in giving birth. That's understood now. That will be what we'll explain tomorrow, the great connection and the great celebration of the yahrzeit of the Rashbi, the one that revealed the inner part of the Torah. Any questions?